Hello, Facebook. This is Lorena with Synergy Behavior Solutions and Yoshi. If you're gonna join, will you just let me know if you can see me like in the right orientation? Still figuring out how Apple products work with this iPad situation. Let's see. All right, so this is a talk that I actually did a little while ago, probably like end of summer-ish, early fall. Time is a very weird construct this year. Thumbs up if you agree with that. Does not feel normal this year. So, hi, Christine. Hey, Christine, am I in the right orientation? Like, horizontal? Can you see me? Or am I, like, sideways? I'm gonna keep going, and then I will hear from people as it's right or wrong. Right side up. Hi. And so, so this is a talk that I gave, but it ended up being like accidentally in 3 parts because of some connection issues that I was having. So I wanted to kind of do this talk again and ideally not have the connection issues so that it can be one full video. So this is some considerations and things to think about for people who are soon getting or have just received or adopted or bought or whatever a new dog. So I see you well, but a bit sideways. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on. Let's see, rotate your phone. You can't turn your phone while recording. Okay, all right, thanks, iPad. Huh. Is the video horizontal or is it right side up? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so let me know if I'm horizontal. If I am, I'm just gonna restart the video because I don't know what's happening. But it should be in landscape version, and you should be able to see me sitting upright like a person and not sideways on your screen. So a few things to think about, and this has kind of been inspired by a lot of conversations that I've been seeing happening online. Because this year has been like the year for people getting dogs and puppies. And, people are like, oh, I got my COVID puppy, or like, here's my quarantine rescue dog. As in, you're okay, just not centered. Oh, okay, great, that's fine. I don't care if I'm not centered. Just want Yoshi to be visible in case she decides to join our conversation. So, thank you, Christine, for the feedback. And so I've noticed that a lot of people are adopting dogs or getting dogs sometimes for the first time this year because everybody's like home from work a lot more. And so in some ways it's a great time to adopt maybe a rescue dog that has maybe a challenging past, or a puppy, which takes a lot of time and effort and consistent care throughout the day. So I kind of was thinking of like the top 3 things that I've noticed that I think are, I don't want to say like people making mistakes, but some assumptions that people are making when they first bring these dogs into their homes, and some really simple ways that we can clarify expectations and considerations for a brand new dog. So I'm not going to talk about like how to raise puppies. That's a different conversation. I actually did a webinar on this at the beginning of COVID. So if you're interested in learning about raising puppies during a time of social distancing, you can check out our videos on demand, and you can watch that video on demand on our website, synergybehavior.com. And but mostly what I want to talk about is when we bring a new dog into our home, we as humans tend to tell ourselves a story about this dog. And I think this story is this story is a little bit maybe exacerbated or encouraged by some of the like viral video type stuff that happens, especially with rescue dogs. So one of the things that I've noticed in a lot of these videos of like, oh, this dog was like in a fighting ring and then abandoned and then dropped in a volcano and is missing 3 legs, and all of these like very tragic stories of dogs that get rescued and taken into homes. And then the message is often, love cures all. So there's sort of this idea that that you bring this rescue dog into your home and everything is going to be just fine and dandy because now he knows he's safe, and it's going to be rainbows and sunshines and unicorns for the rest of its life. And that's just not necessarily the case, regardless of where your dog came from. Obviously, I'm exaggerating when I talk about these like horrific stories. Many dogs in shelters actually come from very nice lives. They just are not, for whatever reason, able to stay in their homes. The important thing to think about, though, is that your dog doesn't necessarily see it that way. So for you, you're bringing home this brand new puppy or this older rescue dog, And you know, or at least that's the hope, that this is going to be a forever home and that you are going to dote on this dog and you're going to take it for all the great walks and give it all the delicious treats, etc., etc. But for the dog, this is often a pretty traumatic and challenging time. And so we have this dog who, let's say, was in a shelter for who knows how long. Shelters are incredibly stressful environments, and kudos and all my love to shelter workers and people who do that work. You're incredible, and I know you are doing the absolute best to make sure that these animals are not stressed, but we know that shelters are stressful environments. And so we have these dogs that are often experiencing chronic levels of stress, and then they have another gigantic, massive change coming into someone's home. And so there is, in the rescue world and in like trainer talk and people who do who like work with rescue dogs, there is this phrase that they say often. It's like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. So the dog that you bring home is not the same dog that you will have in 3 days, is not the same dog that you will have in 3 weeks, is not the same dog you will have in 3 months. And usually they say that it's like 3 months is about the time that it might take the average dog, I would say the typical dog, to sort of settle in and be like, this is where I live now. And of course that can be a very arbitrary number. It could take a lot longer than that depending on the animal, and sometimes it could take a shorter amount of time depending on the context. So a lot of folks, as soon as they bring their dog home, they want to do all of the things. So they want to invite everybody over to meet the dog. They want to take the dog on their first walk. They want to go to the dog park. They want to go to the beach. They want to go camping. I met some folks at a small festival a couple summers ago who had brought their dog that they just got out of the shelter 2 days ago to a 3-day-long music festival in the woods. And just today I was reading in a dog group that I'm in. Someone was sort of, I would say, complaining about the fact that when she's out with her new rescue dog, she always has to be feeding it treats in order for it to pay attention to her. And when some commenters inquired how long she'd had the dog, it was a month. It was 1 month that she's known this creature, and she already expected it to behave in a certain way. So I think what I'm getting at is more about expectations and how they're not necessarily in line with the needs and realities of having a dog. And so if we think about this animal's experience, this dog doesn't know who you are, where it is, or have any idea of what is happening to it. And just because you brought it home doesn't mean that it knows that this is its forever home or that it is safe. And depending upon the animal's prior learning experience, and this is true for puppies as well, I would say, this could be actually a situation where they need to be maybe more worried. You might have a dog that's a little bit shut down. A lot of people who think that they just adopted that bomb-proof dog from the shelter actually adopted a dog that is pretty much encased in its little shell, trying to stay safe and not making choices. You might get the dog that is like super rowdy at first and then it was able to like settle down. It turns out is actually a fairly calm individual once it feels safe. So I want to give like my three like biggest considerations, I think, and some tips that you can take home while you welcome your dog into your home. So the first thing is less is more. So for the first, I would say 3 weeks that you bring your new dog home, especially if it's a brand new rescue dog. Slightly different case for puppies because we want to start our socialization journey young, but still less is more, I promise you. For the first 3 weeks, I don't think that your dog should go anywhere. I don't think that you need to be walking your dog. I don't think that you need to be taking them to the dog park or introducing them to every single one of your friends and family. I don't think you need to have that barbecue in your backyard, which, like, first of all, there's a pandemic, so maybe don't. But also, maybe you don't need to have a bunch of people and exciting things happening. Stress, chronic stress, and stress hormones increase and cause challenging behaviors, whether we're talking about eustress or distress. So positive stress, like euphoria, yay, stress, or negative stress, like, ooh, that's a scary thing. So just because your dog loves people, and honestly, if you've only had the dog for a few days, you have no idea if that's the case. Even if they love people, it is still quite taxing on them to be constantly subjected to that novelty. So the best thing you can do for your dog is less is more. Think about letting your dog get used to where they sleep, where they eat, what they eat, the way that your routine goes day to day. Let them get used to your yard if you have one. If you don't have one and you live in an area where you have to put your dog on leash to take them out, just do really short potty breaks and then back to nice, calm relaxation in the house. Think about how you can create a calm and relaxing atmosphere in your home. Don't think about like, we need to go play with the ball for an hour every day, or here's all the new tug toys I brought for you, even though you're very excited to show all of these things to the dog. Start small. Start with lots of calm, some nice music. I would say my second move, and this goes into it, my second tip is ditch the food bowl. So have your dog earn their daily food from you as a really awesome way of establishing a super solid relationship. Your dog doesn't know who you are, might have really bad experiences in the past with people. So how great would it be if they could earn all of their food from you, one of the things that they love, probably, in ways that are relationship building and calm. So I play a lot of games with my dog. We've talked about this a lot in our lives. We've talked about ditching the bowl a lot and at Synergy, and it's one of the best things you can do right off the bat to reward behavior you like and to build a relationship with your dog. On that note, I want to just check these comments really quick because I think these are important things. Let's see. Diana says, I made this exact mistake. It ended badly. And although I have had 4 dogs a long time, I failed that dog. I can't see the red. There we go. However, I kept him till the shelter and I could find him a more confident home. That's great. I mean, we do the best we can with what we have and the information that we have. And I just want to say, like, this is like completely different topic, but there is no shame in rehoming a dog or in realizing that you are not the right fit for a specific dog. Different conversation, but I just want to throw that out there. There's no shame there. Stephanie said, I made this mistake with my reactive dog 2 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. I have made this mistake myself. And I think part of it is that it's not because people are wanting to cause the animal stress. It's just that we're very excited about this new family member that we have, right? And it is a really exciting time for us. For the dog, it's actually quite a stressful time, and that's regardless of the dog's temperament, because change is hard, especially if you were a dog who maybe in the past, change has been a negative experience for you. And so less is more, and for at least the first 3 weeks, focus entirely on less stimulation, calmness, building a relationship with your dog. I know everybody wants to start with, I want to teach my dog sit, down, stay, perfect recall. You can teach those at any point in your dog's life. Focus instead on helping your dog feel safe and getting to know your dog's personality. Who is this creature that we brought into our homes? Pets is such a weird concept, as an aside. Like, we're just going to have this critter live in our house, and then we just have them. It's very weird. And they, like, are cool with it. They like to be there for the most part. Very interesting. So having said that, ditch the food bowl. So think about things like long-term... Oh, what's up? Come here. What's up? Think about things like long-term chews. Get lots of Kongs and West Paw topples and licky mats. Licking and chewing are nice zen, relaxing behaviors for dogs. It lowers their stress levels. Are you having a hard time? You know, she's always stressed, even though she gets treated like a princess. So think about ways that your dog can earn their daily food from you, especially if you're home all day. So if you're working from home, just have a pot of your dog's food on your desk and continue to feed them throughout the day and have positive interactions, even if that's just playing catch with their kibble or hand feeding them while they sit on the bed next to you. Really simple, easy ways to build the foundations of a lasting relationship. The third thing is relationships take time. So be patient. Having your dog for 1 month. Think about when you first meet a new person. There is no way that you could ever call them your best friend after a month. Think about when you start dating somebody and after 1 month, you're like, why aren't we married yet? That would be a little bit like skipping ahead. Relationships are the same in terms of complexity and in terms of the time that they take to build trust and understanding and to figure out, like, who is this other creature that we've incorporated into our lives. And so be patient and also understand that the dog that you have right now is very likely not the dog that you will have down the road. And lastly, along with relationships take time, that is for better and for worse. You will start to see, as your dog settles in and becomes more comfortable, you will start to see behaviors coming out, some of which you will absolutely love, and some of which you will not love as much. And it's often around the 3 week to 3 month mark that we at Synergy start to see people bringing their dogs in looking for trainers, because that's when the behaviors that are challenging start to come out, because now your dog is feeling a little bit more comfortable and is expressing a little bit more of how they are feeling, which might not be great a lot of the time, because dogs are also entitled to have unpleasant emotions and to be having a hard time. So be open to that and understand that you didn't do anything wrong necessarily. It's just that now you are being blessed with the full complexity of your dog's personality. So those are my 3 tips. So less is more. ditch the food bowl, and relationships take time. Be patient. Your dog deserves that patience, and you are a complex enough creature to be able to provide it to them. Why are you crying, honey? She's like sitting just out of view, staring at me very intently, telling me that she doesn't want me talking into the camera anymore because I've been doing that for months and months and months on end. So that's my last bit. If you or anyone you know is going to be getting a dog soon or just got one, I have a webinar next week called New Dog, Now What? And it is all about these topics and how to prepare for the arrival of your animal and then what to do in the next, like, 3 weeks to 3 months, what to expect and some of the best ways to set yourself up for success and for a lasting, long-term, forever relationship with that dog. It's like $25 to register for the webinar. It is live, but it will be recorded and then emailed to participants afterward. So if you can't make the live session, that's okay. You'll be able to view it afterward. Would love to see you there. Please, like, spread this around. Let people know that the webinar is happening. Because it's a super important topic, especially around the holidays and in a pandemic. People are getting dogs for the first time sometimes, and some of the things that you do in just the first few weeks can make a massive difference in your dog's level of long-term success with you and your family. So have a great day, and I will see you all next week.